To a private company, minimum 2 members should be there to form a private company, and when it comes to public company, minimum 7 people should be there to form a public company. Person where it can be sued as well as it can sue any person or any property. Or a company which is already converted to a public company, if they get converted to a private company, we call that as conversion of a company. It is only the company secretary who will come and he'll be answerable to all the things. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I'm Abhilash Chandra from the Department of Commerce and Management in Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. Here we'll go with the next chapter, that is chapter number 3, called as formation and the conversion of a company. Now in this the session first, I'll explain you about what exactly a formation of a company means. Now here you need to understand that whenever any business, it registers itself as a form of business, as a company, what happens is the law will give that company a separate status called as a person. So we always say that a company is an artificial person. The way we are, the company can't be. The reality is here it is only an artificial. But the law says that it is also what? It can be sued as well as it can sue anybody. So that's the reason we have a special feature for a company, that is, company is a separate legal entity. So any person, whoever is a promoter, if he really wants to start a company, he should know that there are two types of a company, that is a private company and a public company. When it comes to a private company, minimum 2 members should be there to form a private company, and when it comes to public company, minimum 7 people should be there to form a public company. Now when they go for any of the registration, we call it as incorporation. So when we go for registration and we get registered, we say it has incorporation. Now where is that we are supposed to go for incorporation? We are supposed to go to ROC, that is Registrar of Companies, and we are supposed to contact this registrar, and the registrar will actually give us a kind of incorporation certificate. Now in the first chapter I have already cleared it, that is we are supposed to have at least 2 documents to start a public company, that is called certificate of incorporation and certificate of commencement. Whereas if we go to the private company, if you have certificate of incorporation, you can start your private company. Now coming to this chapter, that is where we'll go with the formation of a company. So what exactly the formation of a company means? Now the company formation is the process of registering a business as limited company. That means, see, the other form of business like sole trader, partnership, we have something called unlimited liabilities. Now here we'll go with limited company at company's house. Next is, as a result, the business become a distinct legal entity. It becomes what? It becomes a legal entity. When it becomes a legal entity, what happens is the process is referred to as company incorporation and company registration. Both are the same, that is company incorporation and registration. When you incorporate a limited company, it becomes an individual person. I told you, right? That is, we give a status to a company saying that it is an artificial person in the eyes of law. When we go for this eyes of law, in the sense, the law itself is permitting a company to be called as an artificial person, where it can be sued as well as it can sue any person or any property. Now incorporated business are completely separate from their owners in terms of finance, liability, contractual agreements and ownership of property and assets. That means whatever the owner has and whatever the company has, both of them, it is separate. That's why they say it has a very special feature called as separate legal entity. That is, the identity itself is separate. You can't mix both of them. Now Mukesh Ambani's personal asset and Mukesh Ambani Reliance, both are totally different. Okay, next one we'll go with company conversion. Now what is the meaning of conversion? Now whenever a listed company is there or a company which is already converted to a public company, if they get converted to a private company, we call that as conversion of a company. Now what is this company conversion? Please understand. Under the Companies Act of 2013, in that section 31, all public companies, whether, please understand the legal procedure here, originally incorporated as a public limited company or at any time converted into a public limited company, that is converted under section 44. So we have a section called section 44 of 2013 Companies Act, where you can actually convert a private company to a public company, may be converted into a private limited company if the members so desire. So we call that as conversion of a company. That means from public company, if you convert it into a private company, we call that as company conversion. So hope you got what is company conversion. That is, in the initial, if it was started as originally incorporated as public limited, or whether it in the times of conversion it has actually went from public limited to private limited, we call that as conversion of a company. Next we will go with procedure for conversion. Now how the conversion happens. Now there are few topics which I'll be dealing with. Now we can't change the procedure. Now whenever I go with company law students, please understand that law cannot be altered. We can't actually put our own clauses. So we should actually abide by the law, and we are supposed to go with the same procedures, same steps in the procedure of company conversion. Now here the Companies Act contain the following procedure. When I say procedure, procedures cannot be altered by common men. It should be only altered by the law. For the conversion of company into a private company. Now the first one, what am I giving is from public company to private company, how the conversion happens. The first one, you need to always hold a board meeting. What is that first one you are supposed to do? Always hold a board meeting, and you need to get approval. What is that you should get? You should get approval of the board of the proposal. Next is fix up the date and time of holding the general meeting. So you are supposed to go with a meeting that is called the general meeting of the company. Then approve notice and explanatory statement and authority to sign notice. So who will actually sign the notice? The secretary should sign the notice with the board of directors' consent. Hold the general meeting on a fixed day and pass the special resolution. Now there is a form which you are supposed to fill, that we call it as fill e-form 23. That is, e-form 23 should be there with a copy of special resolution, explanatory statement and memorandum and article before and after. Both of the statements should be there, where you will before the alteration is done, you are supposed to take a statement. After the alteration is done, again you are supposed to take a statement. Then you are supposed to pay the requisite application fee. Now this application fee, where you will actually pay, it is the ROC. That is, whatever you do for any conversion, right, whether it is public to private or private to public, you are supposed to meet the ROC and the registrar. The registrar have all the authority to convert it, or he can actually reject it. So next, if we go more about the procedure of conversion, after the e-filling is done and then you have taken the consent and everything, publish a newspaper notice. Now what is that you should do is publish a newspaper notice in 2 widely circulated dailies of state where the registered office of the company is situated, where you have registered the office there, and that too what? The circulated paper should have actually a value. That means there should be a proper circulation of the paper, and the paper should be known by many people. At least 2 papers you are supposed to go with it. Get a no objection letter. We call it as NOC, right? But here what you are supposed to go is no objection certificate. The same way here you have no objection letter from the major unsecured creditors and all secured creditors. That means whoever are the major unsecured creditors are there, you are supposed to take no objection letter saying that they have no objection to get converted from a public company to a private company. We don't have any problem, is what you are supposed to take a letter from them. So apply to the central government and e-form 1B. So there is a form that is called e-form 1B, and we'll go with the next one, that is steps for conversion. Now here you need to understand what are the steps which the ROC will also take, because it is not just because you will go to the ROC and you will tell that now we need to convert from public limited to private limited, the ROC will not approve for it. So he'll also go for some verification. So what exactly it is? Now the terms of appointment of all managerial personnel should be taken care. Power of attorney in favor of authorized representative should be given. On a receipt of application, the registrar of company, that is the ROC, shall examine. Now what exactly the ROC will examine, we are supposed to understand that. Firstly, the ROC will check whether the interest of the public and particularly that of the creditors, particularly to the creditors, will be adversely affected or it is favorably it is there. If it is favor the creditors, no issues, but it should not harm anybody. That is what the ROC will actually examine, that is who was getting favorism, who was not getting favorism, and who was getting the adverse effect of it. That will be checked by ROC. Second is whether the company is listed or not. Have they listed the company or they have not listed the company? So that they will actually check. Capital contribution by members, they will check the capital contribution. Now I have told you the minimum capital, the minimum subscription, right? Now what exactly the amount of the members capital is all about, they will examine. Whether e-form 23, now whether e-form 23 has been passed and taken on record. Now whether it has been cleared, everything is properly, the procedures are maintained with them or not. Whether the reasons for conversions are just and sufficient. Now why is that the public limited company is getting converted to private limited company? All the reasons. Now it can depend from one company to another company, but ROC will list out what are the reasons, and has a company secretary as well as the board of director, the managing director should actually address the ROC. But when it comes to ROC, it is only the company secretary who will come and he'll be answerable to all the things. Next one is how many members voted for the resolution. Now there are n number of people in a public company, right? Now in that, how many people have voted for the resolution and against the resolution, they'll also check. Because you should know, in a public company usually the members are more than 200, 300, 400, because the maximum members are unlimited. But when it comes to a private company, what happens is the minimum is 2 but the maximum is only 200. Say supposingly in a public company of say 500 to 600 people are already there. Now if you need to convert it to a private company, now that means what, they should give their membership. So you need to make their membership, like you should withdraw those membership at all. Now who will do it, why will they do it, all those you are supposed to check. That is, the ROC will check how many members are there. Whether any complaint against the company is pending or not. Now there may be n number of files which is in the court or in the ROC. Whether there is any complaint, if any complaint is there, then definitely they can't convert a public company to a private company. Only the thing is, each and every case should be solved. Only then you will actually have at least a green signal of yes, it can be converted. So the last one here is whether any show cause letter has been issued to the company or its directors. Is it the reason why? Because there is a show cause notice, they have actually converting or not. So in each and every angle, that is, I'll tell you that it is 3D angle. In all the 3D angle, you are supposed to check that what exactly has happened, why they have converted a public company to a private company. These all steps will be taken care by the ROC, and ROC will check, and if they feel that everything is crystal clear, everything is proper, the documentation has been maintained properly, then what happens is now you can convert your public company to a private company. So these are the steps which are involved in conversion of a public company to a private company. Though it is very easy to actually understand that okay, these are the format, but let me tell you, it is very difficult to convert a public company to a private company. That is why we say conversion is very difficult, but you can form a company, you can start a company from initially itself you can start a public company, initially itself you can start a private company, but conversion of the company, so very difficult it is. So thank you so much students. If you have any doubts regarding this, please do call us. We are always there to help you. Thank you so much. I'll see you when I see you.